Welcome to another exciting episode of the $1 Million Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And it is Saturday. It is BOLO Day. Now, anybody new to the channel, you're saying, what is BOLO Day? Why, it's a Saturday tradition. We show you some highlights from eBay sales from the past week and tell you what sold, why it sold, how it can help you when you're out there in your sourcing. And hopefully, well, you're surprised. You're finally figuring out the concept.
It took a couple years, but I think I don't know.
And hopefully this helps you find some treasures out there. And we always start out with Mr. Magazine, so take it away.
All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never seen this item in my life.
Neither have I.
But I must own it and got paid for it. A vintage original John is a Calais.
Probably, I would say John Cale from Velvet Revolver. Okay.
Right. Patrick's Day McVan's poster. It's not very big, but it did go for, I think it took $55 for this. There must not be a year on here, but I'm guessing 1970s. And it was probably like a little less than 11 by 14 size. But, doesn't look like much, but still, it turned into $55.
Right, yeah, and those are the kind of things that you can end up finding those in people's estates. They were friends with somebody in the band. They went and they saw the band or the concert, and they grabbed one of the bills. These would have been posted up around the venue, sometimes on telephone poles. Wherever, and people will grab these things, and they weren't really meant to be saved.
Right.
Which is why, if you do have one of them, you can ask a little higher price on it because odds are there are not a lot of them out there.
Yeah, I mean, and if I was at a sale or something and saw this for $2, I don't know anything about it. I just know it's weird and oddball.
Yep.
If it said Velvet Revolver, I'm jumping on it, but I didn't know this guy from anything. I did pick it up in a deal, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
If it's odd and different and it's cheap, pick it up. You got nothing to lose.
Absolutely.
All right, Easy Riders, 1988 calendar, David Mann motorcycle art. Not in the best of shape. Got some spine wear. $42.
$42,
yeah, can't argue with that.
Old calendars are some good thing to list. Now, what is eBay's rules regarding Easy Riders? Now, I realize this is a calendar.
Yeah, I've been listening to people list them. I think no problem. As long as I don't know if they have any nudity on any of the covers, early ones.
I don't know if they do on the covers.
Yeah,
sometimes they do inside.
I think they're good to go. They're in that Playboy category,
So they're allowed. Okay.
Yeah. The Play Safe always put in a nude drop down because there is some nudity in some of them issues. So.
Right. Yep.
All right, next up. I don't know where I got these from, but I took a low offer just because I don't want to deal with sneakers used. I'm assuming they're real and authentic, and the people buying it hopefully knows that. I think I took $170 on this.
Now, that was my question was, and I don't know the rules in the sneakers, but did you have to, because it says right there, this item is verified by professionally trained. Did you have to send it off to eBay? Do you know?
Yeah, I think we had to do that to list it. Yeah.
To list it, you had to send it off?
Well,
to eBay?
I mean, you can only list it if you guarantee its authenticity.
Right.
Yeah, so it's got to go off to someone just like a sports card. And like I said, I didn't pay much, so if it's real, good for me. If it's not, no harm, no foul.
Okay, right. So you probably shipped it off just like you normally did with an envelope or a box, and it went right to eBay probably.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nice. Interesting.
So we'll see next week if I made $170 or if I lost $5.
You're trying to lose.
Next up, 1971 World Series, Game 6, Roberto Clemente, the throw, home run number 1. Stub, it's a PSA 1.5, and it went for $140.
Now, did it?
And believe it or not, they played the Orioles, which is not in the title, but there wasn't much room in there either, so can't argue with that.
Well, no, I was just wondering about the throw, and it does say it up on the
PSA,
up on the label, right? Yeah, so I was wondering.
Yeah. I don't know if PSA researches it for you, or if you got to send it in when you send the sub in. I don't know about that, but
right.
Either which way.
Interesting.
Yeah, very cool. Next up, another lot that not very familiar with. Don't know where it came from, but it's Cato N scale train models, 106, and a bunch of numbers I know nothing about. A lot of 3 went for $200.
Now, how big is N scale?
N scale is half of HO scale, so they're tiny, like 1/87th.
Oh, okay.
But they go for way more money than HO scale. They're usually metal, very detailed. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cool stuff.
So N scale is one to be definitely looking for when you're out there.
Exactly. Yeah. If I had all N scale trains in my warehouse instead of O scale, I'd have a little bit more room.
How about if you had nothing but N scale trains in your warehouse?
I'd be overpaying. Yeah, I'd be overpaying on size though. All right, next up, First Officer Donatello, Star Trek Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1994 by Playmates. Went for $46.
I never even knew they did a Star Trek.
Yeah, they all go for about $50 a piece. They're pretty cool.
Wow. That's something I've never seen out there. Huh.
But they are out there. Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean they're not out there.
That's true. I'm not a toy guy, but interesting.
And next up, Dracula Lives, #1, Marvel Comics, 1973 by Boris Cover, Marv Wolfman, blah, yada, 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 CGC 8.5, went for 140.
Now, what's it worth ungraded?
50 to 75.
Oh, it's worth that much?
Probably $50, I would say. Yeah, 50.
Oh, okay.
Maybe high grade might push it to 75. About half of the 140.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Still worth grading, though.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, the first item I have, and you will find these out there, Alcoholics Anonymous. These are getting more difficult to find now because they've gone on to the next volume. This is 3rd edition. They're into the 4th edition now, maybe even into the 5th at this point. But this is the 26th print. A lot of people will just walk right by this just because it's such a high print. Still, I got $15 or $16 out of it, is what I ended up getting out of it. I paid $1 for it. So you can find these out there. Definitely do pick them up. And again, if a 26 print can make you some money off of paying $1, imagine what a first could do on 3rd print.
Sure. So you're saying buy any of them anytime you see them, no matter what print?
Anything, first, second, or 3rd edition, I would. Yep. 4th edition, I would still be only looking for the first print on the 4th edition. But any of the other 3 prints, as long as it's got the jacket and it's not in terrible shape, I definitely would just be picking it up no matter what. Yep. For $1, definitely. I'd buy that for $1. And another thing I bought
if the jacket fits, you must buy it.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know. Another thing I did buy for $1, the Wizard of Oz program, Paper Mill Playhouse, New Jersey, September 1992. Wizard of Oz stuff is always something to look for out there. It's something that's always going to sell, always very, very popular. It's one of the few things that I just pick up nearly anything I find paper-wise from.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of non-paper stuff that I don't know anything all about, but if it's paper and Wizard of Oz and I'm paying reasonable, in other words cheap, I pick it up. Next item. One of my goals this year was to learn a little bit more about sheet music, and well, I listed this in 2021, apparently as my goal back then as well. But I'm actually doing okay with sheet music. Good Vibration sheet music, Beach Boys, Mike Love, Brian Wilson, 1966. It's one of the earlier prints of it. It is actually from 1966, but to get $34 out of a piece of sheet music's not, yeah, it's not too bad.
And look at the corner on it. It looks like they're flossing their teeth.
I think I did that in listing. I noticed something there.
Sure.
But yeah, when you can find some of the rock and roll stuff out there, especially from the 60s, do pick it up. You're not going to pay very much for it, even for the rock and roll stuff. Great things to find at library sales and church sales. Those are 2 places where you can find them regularly. And a lot of dealers just want to unload sheet music. It really is a niche kind of area. And so you can pick it up fairly cheap by somebody who just does not want to deal with it.
I remember you called me after this sold and you said selling this gave you a good vibration.
Yes, I did. And then then you broke into Marky Mark. Vanity Fair magazine, September 1999, JFK Jr. Tribute, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. I put this up because you will find this out there. And you know how I know that? I found this at a flea market for $1. Listed it, and it took about 3 weeks to sell. And I got the full price of $32 out of it. Now it has free shipping on it, but still, to move $1 into even $25 in a period of 3 weeks on a common magazine, cannot argue with that at all. And you will find this magazine out there. This is out there. There's a lot of JFK Jr. tribute stuff out there, definitely. If you can pick it up for $1 or less, buy it. It does sell. He still moves the needle. Up next. Glamour of Hollywood, April 1940. Alice Faye, Lucille Ball, Gone with the Wind. I took $25 on it, but look at that description there, Mr. Magazine.
Missing its 2 pinups in complete magazine. Wow.
Yep, and I still got $25 out of a. Do you know what Glamour of Hollywood is, Mr. Magazine?
It's a magazine.
Yes. It's actually Glamour Magazine.
Oh, sorry.
The first few years it was actually called Glamour of Hollywood, and then they dropped the Hollywood part of it and became Glamour Magazine. Nice. So if you do see the Hollywood, I mean, Glamour is something or other I pick up all the time anyway if I find it from the 40s and 50s, but that actually is Glamour Magazine.
Cool.
See, you're learning today, Mr. Magazine. See what happens when you stay awake for the shows?
Yeah.
Up next, Ohio's Ohio High School Football Championship Program, 1977. Cincinnati Moeller, who was actually I believe Jerry Faust was their coach at the time. They were a powerhouse back in Ohio. I picked this up for $1, hoping that there was some big star in it, and I went through every single team. Every team was pictured in there. Every team had its roster and all that.
Wow.
So I made sure that I posted all of those.
Not one winner?
Nobody that I had heard of. Doesn't mean
Wow.
somebody didn't play somewhere or other, but some of these guys could have made the pros, but they would have made it as a special teams guy or a
Right.
2-year linebacker or something like that.
Sure.
I'm sure somebody in there did do something,
Yeah.
but nobody jumped out at me as being, oh my gosh, this is a big star from that period.
Right.
But the reason why, and you definitely want to do this as well, I put every single roster in that. I'm sure whoever bought it, because it did sell to somebody in Ohio, I'm sure whoever bought it, them or their father or
Yeah.
their son, somebody they know is in that. And the fact that I was able to show every roster. The other nice thing about doing that is it saves you questions. Because
Sure.
otherwise people will say, hey, was Steubenville in that thing, and was so-and-so on their team? And well, guess what? You can look for yourself. I ended up getting $25 out of it, which isn't bad for paying $1 and doing a little research and doing a few pictures on it.
I see Crooksville in there. Didn't they play in that movie with Burt Reynolds?
They very well may have. Deliverance? And
Whoa, yeah.
Mass Transportation Magazine, May 1945, $230 with 4 bids, with a very poor listing. And again, I should have mentioned it was the end of World War II, VE, Victory Europe there. I should have mentioned that over there. People do collect a lot of the World War II stuff. I put it up at like $40, figuring it's going to be worth about that. It was worth $230. Once in a while, you do well, and that, I guess this over here, an item like this, Mr. Magazine, I think summarizes why we put everything up at auction first. Because
Yes.
I would have put it up in a store at $50 and been happy to get $50 out of it. Put it up, it gets some bids, it picks up a couple $100 more than what I thought it would. That pays for an awful lot of auction fees.
When you listed in 1937, so 90 years ago.
I did. I certainly did. Yeah, it's been sitting a little while. You're a funny guy.
Thanks.
Hopefully funny enough that the people out there hit the like button. That would be wonderful.
Perfect.
And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.